You may be confused as to why I've gone out here to speak to you privately. You may be unsettled by the choice of environment I've decided to do this in. You may be surprised to learn that I have 183 pieces. I presume people would just look at my exterior and wonder where the other 43 pieces go. I may not be able to explain everything within the time I have, but I'll tell you my story. Well, actually, I can't explain that last one. You see, I'm a shelled puzzle. If we look at my design here, there's a whole system on the inside. Hang on, let me turn the lights on. If we look at my design here, there's a whole system on the inside with 12 center pieces, 30 edge pieces, and 20 corner pieces. This design looks a lot like just a Pyraminx. But you'll notice, the corner pieces extend outwards towards the next shell where my outer edge pieces fit between them. These outer edges cover up the 12 center pieces and 30 inner edge pieces, so add the core to that, and that's 43 pieces you can't see from my exterior. And my story starts way back in 2025 with this design. But this thing already exists. It's called the Pyraminx crystal, so something had to be added to this to make it unique. So that would be trivial edge turns, I guess. And while I noticed this design document had an alternative edition in its files with more pieces, I have to say I do prefer this one where the edge turning cuts don't intersect, but maybe I'm just biased. I admit I don't remember much about the experience of being put together. I was just a bunch of disconnected pieces at the time, some of which were extras and some of which had bad tolerances or bad supports or bad not breakability. But what I will never forget and never forgive was the eternity I spent where I was almost fully assembled. I was a fool to believe that the assembly would only last a day or two. But just as I was looking forward to this finally being over, that final corner and its surrounded edges were never installed to complete me. Tantalizingly close to the end, I was suddenly left there, in a malformed, abnormal state. The amount of time that had passed had felt inordinate by the time that corner and its surrounding edges were finally put into place. It didn't help that some of my screws had to be temporarily removed to make way for them. It didn't help that my pieces had to be pulled apart with a lot of force to get those last ones in. It didn't help that a screw fell between my pieces and had to be shaken out with much difficulty. When I was finally put together for real, sure, I felt relieved, but I did not feel unperturbed. And that's why I'm not comfortable being anywhere near where I was when I was incomplete. But that's all behind me, and I'm content with living new ways of fulfillment now. I'm realizing I unfortunately may not be best suited as a puzzle to solve. I mean, I work, you can turn me. But it's really, really stiff. And it kinda hurts. Yeah, sometimes that happens. These edges also turn, but they tend to rattle in place because their tolerances were carelessly cranked up after the first attempts were too tight. So while I am possible to scramble and solve, yeah, I feel like I'm not really, meant for solving. Maybe the fact that it took so long to assemble is a part of it, but I'm finding myself really enjoying going outside a lot more, where I can explore new places and engross myself in nature. And I mean, not to flex, but even though I'm not very complex mechanically, my appearance is quite striking and flashy. It makes me feel more confident and self-assured going out here. I think I've found my purpose. And the other thing I've discovered I enjoy doing is informing you that this video is brought to you by the Puzzle Advent Calendar, an annual collaboration between puzzle designers and video creators to bring you a brand new puzzle every day for the first 24 days of December. Check out the link in the description for a playlist with all the videos this year thus far, and the next video in the series will be made by Ethan M. of Clever Cuber, so don't forget to subscribe to that person right now. Go, 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 go! One thing I've been thinking a lot about is my name, Edgy Pyraminx Crystal. Ostensibly, you could say it just means I'm a Pyraminx crystal with extra edge turns, and that's true, and some other puzzles are named in a similar fashion, like the Edgy Cube, but I think there's a deeper meaning to my name. The juxtaposition between me and my presentation. Internally, I'm really just a Pyraminx crystal, which was invented like 20 years ago. I'm not much new. Sometimes I feel like I haven't really earned the apparent complexity I have with the addition of trivially simple edge turns. And then I'm suddenly deciding to go outside instead of just being a puzzle to solve. Hell, I'm going on this tangent, what realistically should have been a 2-minute video of me being turned. I know I'm being weird about this, but, one of my favorite places to go to is the beach during nighttime. No one's here, so it's just a vast, dark, empty field of sand, only terminated by a body of water that blends in with the sky. It feels almost like I'm at the edge of reality. Come over here. I don't really care if it's edgy to say this in a video meant to merely showcase me as a puzzle. I find it worth it. All I can say is, if it gives you fulfillment, sometimes I don't think there's anything wrong with being edgy. But what do I know? I'm just a Pyraminx crystal with edge turns.